Welcome back to another episode of the ARC Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Zachary. If you're new tuning in, thank you for joining. This is the Athletes Resilience Center podcast where we talk all things mental performance in sports. We have an awesome episode for you this week. We interviewed Grayson Sterling. Grayson is a former Gonzaga baseball player who is now working in the mental performance space at his company, Sterling Mental Performance. He works with athletes every day on how to improve the mental side of their game. And on this episode, he shares with us his journey through sports and how it's led him to where he is today. He goes into his journey at Gonzaga about the transition from high school into playing Division I college baseball, his opportunity of redshirting at Gonzaga, and how ultimately that helped him grow and improve as an athlete, both physically and mentally. We go into the expectations that he set for himself. We go into the injuries that he faced along the way and how perspectives changed across his athletic career at Gonzaga. Then we go into his transition into working in the mental performance space, why he values it, why he thinks it's super important, and why he likes serving athletes and helping them on the mental side of the game. Overall, this is a fantastic episode. Grayson gives a lot of awesome insights for any athlete that wants to hear it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Grayson, I'm fired up to have you, brother. Thank you for coming on. How we doing tonight?
We're doing great, Brandon. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Of course, man. No, we're really excited to get into the conversations today. Really excited to have you on and hear your experiences and your perspectives. Of course, leading into, the mental performance space of sports. But, we'll kick this off the same way we do every interview. I'm going to dish it back to you and kind of walk us through your journey on how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, definitely. So my journey starts. I'm from Boise, Idaho, born and raised. It's a town that's definitely more well known for athletics now than it used to be.
Yeah.
I would go places in high school and college, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're from Boise, like Boise State football," and it's like, "Yep," like that's kind of like
Yep.
the whole town's known for it in the sports world. But growing up, I always loved playing baseball, loved playing basketball. And for a while, I liked playing basketball more. I had a lot more fun. But I was always just a little bit better at baseball growing up. And that was also kind of where I had better coaching. I had better mentors. And my parents definitely pushed me more towards the baseball route. And so starting in high school, I stopped playing basketball, and that's when I started playing baseball year round, which in Idaho is pretty difficult. We don't
I'm sure.
the best weather in the winter, so it's mostly just spring, summer, fall, and that's when I really started to see some more jumps. And it was difficult for me because when I was 13, 14, I was the smallest kid on the team, and I was the pinch runner, the fast kid. Then I think when I was 14, freshman year of high school, I grew 10 inches in 6 months.
Wow.
And so I went from being the shortest kid to I was by far the tallest kid. I was 6'3" as a freshman in high school. And I was 140 pounds. I was skin and bones. I was super uncoordinated. I was unbelievably slow. And so the majority of my high school career was just growing into my body and learning how to reuse all of my skills. And so freshman year I was on JV, and I didn't play at all on JV. And that was when I was really okay, this is not going how I thought it was going to. I really need to pick it up. And so started strength training for the first time, started really putting in better work. And sophomore year, made varsity and was on varsity the sophomore, junior, senior. And that was really great, but my goal was to always play it in college, but by no means did I think I was going to go where I was, solely because I was from Idaho, and just we do not have a single Division I college baseball program in the whole state. And so it was okay, if I go to college, I'll go play JUCO, or I'll go play NAIA, which are great options, but that was just where kind of that was okay, if I can get to JUCO, perfect. Like that's
Yeah.
my baseball career has been a huge success if I can just get to junior college.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have like many scouts, many colleges really interested. Then my junior summer, I went and tried. I like got invited to like the area code tryout. And
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're familiar with baseball, like you know what that is. But area code's basically just like a massive like whole countrywide tournament, and you have to try out for like your regional team. So I'm trying out for like the regional team, and I got a lot of good exposure there. And lucky enough, Gonzaga University reached out to me, and they were super interested. Which that to me, it was like I thought I got signed like by the Yankees. I was like, this is perfect. This is more than I ever thought I was gonna do. So then I went to Gonzaga, and again at this point, like, I'm 6'3", like 170 pounds. Like I'm still like tiny as far as college baseball goes. And so I come in, and I can hang a little bit with the college guys, but like not physically. And so
Right.
my first year I redshirted, and basically the coaches were like, just eat and lift as much as you like. We
Yeah.
do not care if you come to like if you hit, if you like work on your fielding. Like they're like, just get big.
Yeah.
Like, that's like your number one focus. Um, so I put on I think 40 or 45 pounds my freshman year,
Whew.
and came back
Wow.
next year like 6'4", 215, which
Yeah.
made a huge difference in just everything. And so I was super fired up. Like I didn't love redshirting by any means,
Yeah.
but going from senior in high school to freshman in college is a big jump, especially at a
Huge.
Division I university. And so like looking back on it now, like I'm very thankful for that. But in the moment, I was kind of pissed off. I was kind of like, okay, like
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. Like no one wants to sit out. Like I want to be out there playing. Like I just watched 55 games. Like I don't, like I
Yeah.
can't really play, you know? So I come back as a sophomore, um, and I'm starting on the season on the bench, just kind of fighting for pinch hitting spots.
Yeah.
A couple spot starts like here and there. But then COVID happened. It was 2020. And so we had played like 10-ish games. I moved back home, and I'm kind of just like, okay, I'm 2 years into college and I've played like 4 games. Like
Yeah.
what's even really good? Like, am I really like made for this? Like is it supposed to be going like this? And that's where I first started having a lot of like doubt and just like questioning of like,
Yeah.
am I at the right place? Like, do I need to go somewhere else? Like, I'm not even sure if we're going to play next season. Um,
Yeah.
and ultimately from all that, I was like, no, like I've seen myself play in the scrimmages. Like I know I can play at this level. Like I'm going all in on myself. And so like that year, like I worked the hardest I ever did. Like I took no days off in the fall. Like if we had a day off, I'd go to the cage and hit for like 2 hours still. Like I was getting extra workouts in. Just basically being like this like I can't fail. Like I have to play. And showed up that junior year, and I won the starting spot in the outfield, which was sweet.
Yeah.
Played like 45 or 50 games. We were ranked top 25. We had a really great team that year. We won the conference, which was like one of the best moments ever. It made every long practice. It made everything like it was like okay, like that's so worth it just to win
Yeah.
the conference. Got to go and play in the postseason, which was sweet.
That's awesome.
Senior year was a lot of the same. We had a lot of the same guys come back. We were ranked even higher. I think at one point we were ranked like 12th or like 11th in the country.
Yeah.
Sweet, and won the conference again. Didn't win the conference tournament, which was a bummer, but won the regular season. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure we're the only team in conference history to not lose a series the whole season.
Really?
We beat all other 9 teams in series, which was cool. That was a really cool moment. We only lost 1 series that whole season.
That's
Went
incredible.
against Oklahoma State and swept Oklahoma State at their place. I think they were like number 5 or number 6.
Yeah.
It's just a really awesome year. Again, came up short in the playoffs, which like was not what we were looking for, but was super sweet. And so then at this point in my career, like I've played 2 good seasons. I'm big and physical now. I go and play summer ball in Alaska, and I led the Alaska Baseball League in average. I hit like 365, I think, like just crushing it. And so like in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm getting drafted for sure. Like The
Yeah.
stars were like lining up. Like this has like been my dream my whole life. And the draft comes and goes, and I didn't get a single phone call. And I was kind of like, okay, well, that's fine. You know, I still have one more year of school. I'll just go back. It'll be great. So I come back to school. I'm the captain of the team, and our third practice in the fall, we're scrimmaging, and I go to catch a ball right at the base of the fence, run into it full speed, and just like shattered my leg, like broke my tibia, broke my fibula. And like in that moment, it was just like such a mix of emotions between anger, you know, questioning, just like, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm just coming off of all my like this is the best baseball I've ever played my whole life, and now like my leg is in three pieces. And so that was just like that was really really tough on me. I had to get surgery. Obviously, I got like a metal rod from my knee to my ankle to hold my bone in place while it healed. And like in that moment, like all the dreams are gone. It's like, okay, like I'm not going to be the same player that I used to be. But like, I just want to play baseball like one more day. It was like, just give me like one more practice, like not even a like game, like just give me one more practice, like with my best friends, like that would make me so happy. And again, it's just like a really like just dark time for me. And so like through that whole process, I started seeing a sports psychologist. And during that time, like not only was he helping me just like through like the mental battles of like just like a brutal, like almost career-ending injury.
Yeah.
But I was learning a lot about like self-talk and about confidence and about like handling pressure, to where I was like, man, this is stuff I wish I knew 4 years ago when I was a freshman. Like
Big time.
this all could have like really helped me. And so not only did he help me just like get through like a really hard time, but like I think he really made me a better baseball player.
Yeah.
I ended up coming back that year and not being the player that I used to be. But I think I hit like 230, 240, like not great, but like for what it was, like I was super proud of myself just to come back and play in games in the spring. After my career was over, it was kind of like, okay, like what's the next step? Like I kind of thought I was going to ride baseball out for a super long time, but like that's not really an option anymore. And I just thought back to those days, like with my sports psychologist, where I was like, man, that was just so cool. And I wish that I had that information earlier. Like, how cool would that be to like do that for others? And so went back to college, got my master's in sports psychology. And now I get to, you know, be a mental performance coach and talk to athletes about all of their shortcomings and, you know, how to just make their mindset more elite. So a little bit of a long-winded answer there, but I think that there's a lot of good little bits and pieces there.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing your journey. I mean, I feel like you had so many unique highs and lows, and you know, a lot goes on within everyone's athletic journey and career, and you know, kind of looking under the covers there and taking a peek at everything that kind of went on, like it's really cool to see your journey and how you were able to kind of build a career based off even some of the obstacles that were kind of thrown in your way. But kind of going under the covers with, you know, the journey that you shared, I'd love to start at, you know, you referenced your red shirting journey, right? Like I'm sure there are a lot of athletes out there that, you know, get the news that they are red shirting, and it's like you said, had the same reaction where they're pissed off. It's not the result they want. Obviously, you know, everyone's dream is to get to campus and they want to be, you know, they want to earn the starting spot and be there right away. But of course, everyone's journey looks a little bit different, and some people have to redshirt. I'd love to hear, you know, you said you were pissed off, right? But how were you able to kind of shift that mindset in order to overcome that? And ultimately, like you said, take the time to put on, you know, 40 pounds that was much needed, and come back next year like ready to attack the field.
Yeah, definitely. I think just understanding why I was upset in the first place, you know, it wasn't like upset at myself. Like it definitely like wasn't like upset with the coaches, just more so like with the situation, because I had come in the fall, and we would track like quality at bats, and I think I was like third or fourth on the whole team in quality at bats as a true freshman. And so like just having that fall, then over Christmas break, you know, Christmas break is like a huge opportunity for you to either make or break like a spring. And just being 18 years old, like I didn't, I mean, the coaches like harped on us, but like you don't really understand what that looks like until you like go through it. And so
Of course.
I,
Yeah.
I definitely didn't like slack off over Christmas break. Like I was still working hard, but I was not working like as hard as I needed to. And so
Yeah.
I came back and I was just miles behind everybody else. And so like that's more like where my like anger was pointed to, is like, man, like I was in a great spot. I came back and kind of blew it, and like now I'm out for the season.
Yeah.
Again, like we had a really good team. Like the guy in right field is in the big leagues right now. He's Troy
Yeah.
Johnson for the Miami Marlins. Like he's a
Yeah.
everyday
Yeah.
starter in the big leagues. The guy at
Yeah.
first base hit 325 with like 15 bombs. It's like, hey, those are the guys I'm going up against. Like it's not like I'm going up against like guys that weren't very good. Like they're
Yeah.
really great baseball ball players. So in that moment, like what really helped me was recognizing like, okay, like my teammates, like it's nothing about me. Like these guys are really
Yeah.
good, and they're years and years ahead of me. And
Yeah.
what really helped me was one of my coaches. They sit you down to tell you like, okay, Grayson, you're gonna redshirt. And what they just kept harping was like, think about like how great it's gonna be next year, like when you come back and you're a freshman again, and you've had a
Yeah.
whole season of practicing and working out with us, with the coaching staff. Like now you're a freshman and you're compared to like all the guys that just showed up. Like you're going to be miles ahead of them. So like that really helped me. But then the other like perspective shift that really helped me too was they were like, look, like you can play this year if you want to. Like we see you getting in, whatever, at the end of blowouts, like maybe proving something to us. Like you might get 20 to 30 at bats this season. Like, do you want that, or do you want to be a fifth year and be a middle of the order bat and like lead our team deep in the playoffs? And like
Yeah.
in that moment,
Yeah.
it's like, no doubt, I would way rather be like the
Right.
contributor. And so I think a lot of 18, 19-year-olds come into college and their number one thing's like, I just want to play. And it's like that's great, but you have to look at like the quality of like if you're gonna play or not, right? Like
Yeah.
if I put two things in front of you and I say, okay, on one side you can have 20 at bats, and one side you can be all conference and lead us.
Yeah.
It's like that's not really a difficult choice when you put it like that. But when you just tell an 18-year-old, you know, yeah, you were the best player in your high school, you're the best player in your city all growing up. Now you're not even good enough to sniff the field. Like that's just something tough to handle. But keeping everything in perspective, really helped me out a lot.
No, I mean, honestly, props to you, because I think the egos of a lot of, freshly 18-year-olds going to college, right? Like they wouldn't take that information very well. And I think even just hearing the conversation, I think a lot of guys would, with their ego, same thing, say, you know what, give me those at bats because I'm going to earn a spot. Like there's this narrative you build up in your head, right? Or they like to kind of play it as like, oh, well, the coaches are the ones being the bad guys because they're, sharing this news with me, rather than, like you said, I think your coaches did a phenomenal job. I mean, hats off to both of them to, explain to you, like, take this as a developmental year and come back next year. This is an advantage that not many people get. And you basically have a year with the team where you don't burn a year of eligibility. And now you have 4 clean years and you're a whole new ball player coming back. And, I'm sure the experiences you saw as a redshirt freshman, like, with all of the other people on your team, like competing and lifting, like you probably learned so much in that year that it's invaluable. It's like crazy.
100%. And I think that that's such a big point of like it's gonna be, I mean, and this is true in anything in life. It's not even just true like for sports or even just for like redshirting, but like you get in what you put out, or you get out what you put into it, right? Like if you're the red shirt, like I saw it so many times. Guys that would be pissed off and they wouldn't work that hard. They're like, sweet, I'm not playing. Like I'm just gonna go hang out with my boys all weekend and play video games. And it's
Right.
like, okay, like you're gonna show up the next year, you're not gonna be any better. But I think for me it was huge because like one, I was like, okay, this pisses me off and I want to be better. I don't want to have this
Right.
happen a second
Right.
time or get cut or whatever. number two is like as an 18-year-old, I'd never experienced college baseball. I'd never even been to a college baseball game. The first college baseball game I ever watched was freshman year, like the very first game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it gave me a really great opportunity to have zero pressure, zero
Yeah.
expectations, and just show up, be a sponge every day, work my butt off, and just try to get better without having that pressure of like you have to perform for the team and for all these other guys on your team. So it was, I think having that less pressure was really good for me at that time.
Yeah. I think, so many people could see a redshirt year as a bad year, but there have been many times on this podcast where Matt and I have talked about, like people are so results driven or so outcome driven where some people lose track of like the priority of trying to dial in your processes right and making sure everything that goes into what you do is kind of bulletproof, right? Like you want to create a blueprint that success follows almost. And when you're able to be on campus for a year and develop these new habits, it's your first time, I'm sure, living away from home and being with a new group of guys where there are no rules, like mom and dad aren't watching over you every day, so it's like you could legitimately do whatever you want. And to have an experience where that first year it's like, okay, well, I can make the most out of this and not really have any repercussions of bad play, where like I can try new things, I can work out really hard, I can try to make my body the way that I want to make it and create new habits every single day that are going to help me succeed for the next 4 years beyond this, is like super invaluable and impressive. But also, same thing again, hats off to you for being that young and also understanding that that was something that you could capitalize on rather than making it something that's going to hinder you for the rest of your collegiate career.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a tricky spot to be in, especially, I think it would be a little bit easier at other colleges just because they play more home games, but like Gonzaga, we would only have a couple home series per year. Like the first
Yeah.
month of the season is on the road, like in Arizona, in California, in Texas.
Yeah.
We used to go to like an SEC school every year.
Yeah.
Like we're talking multiple weekends in a row where the team might not even be in campus. Like we're like
Yeah.
all the red shirts are just by themselves. Um, it honestly was really difficult, and there were a lot of sacrifices as far as like socially, just
Yeah.
like missing out on stuff just because like as a baseball player you're not supposed to be on campus in the spring. Like you're not supposed to be there for all
Yeah.
of that stuff. And now
Right.
like what you're saying, like you're 19 years old, it's like the team's gone, like there's no one watching you, like there's no
Right.
coach is
Right.
holding your hand. And so like when I say you really like get out what you put in, like that's what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
are you going to be the guy who wakes up on a Saturday morning and goes and hits for 2 hours and goes and works out? Another thing that like you kind of brought up, like with like you can really take control of your body. Like when the team was home, like we go and work out, and the strength trainer would write out one workout for the guys that were playing, and then a workout for the redshirt guys. And it was like you knew that the redshirt workout was going to be hard, like really,
Yeah.
really, and it
Yeah.
was probably going to be twice as long as the other one because those guys,
Yeah.
it's just an objective fact. They have a game that night, and they're not going to lift super heavy and risk injury or risk being banged up for the game. And it's like, hey man, like Grayson, you're not playing. Like we all know
Yeah.
you're not playing. You can
Right.
go and do 5 sets of back squat and be fine. And so just taking that serious, and taking diet serious, and all it's all of these things that in high school you don't even think about. Like
Right.
you don't think about any
Yeah.
of this stuff, and then you show up to college and it's like, oh man, like that I think is the biggest separator between high school and pros is like the nutrition, the workouts, like doing it on your own. Like that's in in order to be a professional, you gotta like have that like professional mindset.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think you said it, when you're talking about your journey, that jump from high school to college is so drastic. And especially like in your sense, right? You said you grew up in Idaho, and I'm not trying to throw any slander at Idaho baseball, but I'm sure like you go to Gonzaga and it's like, oh my goodness, this is just a whole new world. Like even, I went to a Division III school in New Jersey, and it's like, even stepping on campus my freshman year, you're even like, the seniors are grown men, and I'm just like, walking onto campus and, super scrawny, just trying to get, a feel for everything. And it's just a whole new experience and vibe. But, you know, then I think what else is unique about your story, and I'm sure a lot of collegiate athletes during the same time period that you played, you come back after your redshirt year, I'm sure you're fired up and ready to get back on the field. And then COVID hits, right? And you said you kind of had that moment during COVID where it's just like, am I kind of built for this? Is this like, I have, minimal college at bats and experience under my belt. Like, is this what it's supposed to be about? Is my experience supposed to be different than this? How were you able to kind of, push through that in such a hard time where there were so many questions too? I mean, there were talks about the next season getting canceled or postponed. Like, there was a lot of different variables that we couldn't even control at the time. Like, how were you able to navigate that and ultimately, come back ready and obviously have success?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people forget actually like what was happening during that point. Like when we got sent home, um, the day of, we were working out and we had our bags packed at the clubhouse, and we were going to leave to go play Santa Clara. And then we finish up
Yeah.
our workout, come back to the clubhouse to shower, and our coach is like, "Hey, like we're not going anymore. Like come back. Like we'll have like an update for you the next day." And then the next day, it's like, "Okay, season's canceled." And like what they like first told us was like, "You guys will go." It was our spring break for like regular college was that week. So they're
Yeah.
like, "Just go home for spring break, come back in 1 week, and like we'll still practice the whole spring." And so everyone was kind of like,
Uh,
"Okay, like that's not a bad gig. Like we can go home for a little bit and then come back, like keep
yeah.
practicing, like keep playing games. Like this will be fun." Like no one really thought about it like that serious. And then like we got home and it was like, "Oh, like it really is that serious.
Right.
Like we're not playing." Um, I think what really helped me was honestly just like having a lot of conversations with my teammates throughout that point, because I moved home, and like I said, like there's just not a lot of baseball going on around here. And so I would call my teammates from Gonzaga like very often, and honestly, like if they weren't as hard of workers, I probably would have worked like less hard, just being honest. But
Yeah.
like they were pushing
Yeah.
themselves so hard, where I was like, "Damn, like I need to work harder because I cannot like be this far behind of these guys." We had
Yeah.
four pitchers that were all 1 year younger than me, and they all hit 5 mile per hour PRs in that summer, and they
My
all went
God.
from like 90 91 to like 95 96, all four of them.
Yeah.
And so it was like,
Yeah.
"Oh geez, like I'm gonna have to hit 96 in the fall, like to even
Yeah.
play." And so that really helped me. And then we had a big group of guys that moved back early, moved back in the summer, and
Yeah.
these were like some of the most fun days of my whole college
Yeah.
career. But we would just go out to like any high school field that we could possibly get on and just do live all day. And so like
Yeah. Yeah.
July, August, it was like, "Hey, if you're anywhere in the Spokane area and you're college pro, like just come show up and just throw." And so like
Yeah.
I was hitting off big league guys. Like I hit off Wyatt Mills, who was a Zag alum. Hit off of Jeremy Wu Yelland. Like he was with the Red Sox forever. Like upper 90s lefty. And so it's like it was almost like, wow, I'm getting to play better baseball like now just because of the
Yeah.
circumstance than what I would have been if I was in like a summer league. So I really I attribute a lot of my growth just that summer to just like the culture that we had, and guys just wanted to do it. Like it's not like we got sent
Yeah.
home and guys were like, "Sweet, like time off, like we get to go on vacation,
Right.
hang out." Like they got home and they're like, "Okay, cool. Like what are we doing next? Like we're gonna go throw heavy balls. We're gonna go hit it this time." And
Yeah.
just that culture of everyone being so bought in and everyone keeping each other accountable towards like, "Hey, like I'm putting in the work. Like you better put in the work too. Like I'm not showing up to carry your weight in the fall or in the spring." So I would definitely just say that like that team culture like really helped. I think everybody through that really hard time.
Yeah, you brought up team culture, right? And obviously that's a big theme with your time at Gonzaga. And you, like you said, you guys saw success and, were able to win the conference and able to win a lot of games. And, I find it really interesting and I think it's a fun conversation to talk about because I also went to a school where we saw success. We won our conference. We went to like the regional playoff and, same thing, kind of was able to have a culture that I really appreciated and had success, in. And I'd love to hear kind of you talk about what made your culture at Gonzaga either unique or like special for you. Because especially now that you're in the mental performance space, I'm sure you can take a look back and be like, even things you probably weren't even aware of in the moment, you can look back and be like, you know what, that really makes a special team, just being
Yeah.
able to evaluate it.
Yeah, 100%. Like as I get farther away from college, like I think about it differently. Like not that much
Yeah.
different, but like just certain things stand out to me more that didn't used to stand out to me. And I think a couple big things from Gonzaga really stand out to me. When I was there, I think we had, let's see, like four or five coaches, like in volunteer and paid spots. And the majority of our coaches went to GU. And so I think that
Yeah.
was something that was
Yeah.
really special was our coaches all really, really cared about the program and had
Yeah.
played for our head coach, like when they were college players. And so there was just this level of like, this is home to us and this is how we go about things here. And like, you're not going to change how we go about like you are going to buy into what we do. You're not going to come
Right.
here and like set your own thing. And
Yeah.
that was
Yeah. Yeah.
very, very like well received by the players. And if you didn't receive that well, like you just weren't going to play for us. And like,
Right.
that sounds kind of brash and kind of like rigid, but that was just the like thing. Like we had tons of guys that were really great ball players, could have really helped us out. And it's like you don't really fit our culture, so like
Right.
there's just not really a like spot for you here. Which is so much different now with NIL, like
Oh, yeah.
completely
Yeah.
different ballpark. But I would say the biggest things were we had coaches that like really, really, really truly cared and were not just trying to win to like further advance their coaching spots. Everyone on the
Right.
coaching staff has been there for a long, long time, which is really
Yeah.
special about a place like Gonzaga. Then the second thing was like everyone was so bought in that if you weren't, like it wasn't a coach getting on you, it was a player. And I
Right.
think
Yeah. Yeah.
that like in the moment it just felt so normal. It was like, oh yeah, like how every college program is. And now the further away I get from it, I'm like, whoa, like no, like that was really special because we had so many things where something would happen on a weekend or a guy would get in trouble in class and the coaches wouldn't even know about it. Like we would
Yeah.
handle it as a team. We would have a team meeting or the seniors would just handle it. And it would be like, hey, like why is this guy not the coaches would come to like the seniors and be like, hey, like why is this guy not at practice today? And they'd just be like, don't worry about it. We got it all handled. He'll be back on Thursday. And the coaches would just be like, okay, sounds good. So
Right.
just
Yeah.
a level of trust with the coaching staff to the players, then just an extreme level of responsibility and accountability from the players, and just knowing that hey, we're all in this, whether you're a freshman who's redshirting or you're our number 3 conference player of the year. We're all the same. We're all under the same rules.
Yeah, I mean, one, the trust between coaching staff and players is something special, right? I think that's extremely, extremely important to any successful, organization, any successful team. Like you talk to all the most successful coaches in collegiate sports and professional sports, even, right? They're able to delegate and share some trust with either their assistant coaches and the players on the team, right? And I think your second thing talking about like there's a level of standard on the team that everyone just accepts and understands. And it's like if you're not meeting our, level of standard that we live up to, then you're not going to play and you're not going to be a part of this thing. And, I think too, in my opinion, a lot of freshmen need that level of structure and that like this is the bar that everyone sets we expect even a freshman to try and strive to reach that bar because, same thing. Cultures can die really quick if you have a level of expectation and standard for your team, but it's not really enforced, like it's not really spoken about. There is no accountability, like you said. If people kind of, start doing their own thing, then there is no real culture, right? Because everyone's kind of individualistic. But when you have that level of bond, like you said, that level of standard that you try to achieve every single day, it's like super special. And then everyone's on the same page. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it also makes it just makes like winning feel better, and I think it also makes winning much easier because you don't have everyone with their own
Right.
agendas trying to like do their thing, and grading their performance like that leads to whether they're happy or sad. Like it was great for us. It was like if we won, everyone's happy. If we lost, everyone's pissed off. Like
Yeah.
and I think going back to something that you said, like in order to have like that culture, the more that I look at it now and the more that I study it as like a mental performance coach, like I think it has to come from coaches down to players, and it has to come from players being in the system and being there, for multiple years, and so that when you're a freshman, you're like, okay, I remember like the seniors treated me like this. Now I'm a senior. Like now I have to like uphold that. Like it's like my turn to have that, and not in a like bad way. Like like
of course
they bullied me or they like I was treated great by everybody.
Right.
But there's almost this like pressure and this ownership of oh, crap. Like I'm a senior now, and like this program's like mine for this year. And if this culture goes off of the coaster, like it's on me. And like I don't want to be the guy to ruin, 5, 10, 15 years of culture. So yeah, of course I'm gonna call that guy out for not getting his bunt down. And in the moment, the other guy might be like, man, it's just one bunt. Like, why is he getting so pissed off? And it's like, well, that's not one bunt because in the springtime, in May, when we're in the conference championship, maybe you get pinch hit and you got to put a bunt down. And now it's, it's my season. It's the coach's season. It's all this season that we've all invested in. Like, it's a lot more than a bunt. Like, that might be our ticket to the championship. Yeah, it's just having that culture and like what you said, not allowing that, not allowing things to slide. Because once you let one thing slide, anything, it's like, well, you didn't yell at me last week for doing that. Why are you doing that?
Right.
Are you just being mean? And so you gotta put a stop to it right when it happened.
We want to take a quick second to let you know that today's podcast is brought to you by the Philly Pretzel Factory of Marlton, New Jersey. Whether it's picking up a snack between games or picking up a party tray for the big game, the Philly Pretzel Factory of Marlton has you covered. For all of your pretzel needs, make sure you stop by the Philly Pretzel Factory of Marlton, located on North Maple Ave. Let them know that the ARC podcast sent you. Now back to the episode. No, dude, it fires me up hearing the level of pride that you have for, your team and playing there. Like, that's awesome. Because I feel the same exact sentiment. There is such like a pride in me for, the teams that I had been on and played on and like the cultures that I've been a part of. So, dude, I love hearing that you're also very, fired up and passionate about that. Because, that's awesome. It really, really gets me juiced up. But, continuing with your time at Gonzaga, like you brought up, you killed it in the Alaska Summer League. You killed it, I guess it was your redshirt junior year, right?
Yeah.
So then you come back senior year, right? And I'm sure you probably built a narrative and expectations in your head about, coming back and doing X, Y, and Z. And then you face injury, right? You face like a pretty, significant injury nonetheless, right? It's not like a nagging little thing, like pretty significant. And you said when you were kind of describing your journey, this perspective change for yourself and like working with a sports psychologist in order to kind of figure some of these things out and help you a little bit. Like, can you share, I guess, some of the biggest steps in that perspective change? Because again, like a lot of people, when they would have gotten hurt and they come back and hit 230, their mindset would have just been, I'm not the same as I once was, right? But you said the verbiage that you used, I'm sure was very intentional, but you said like, given the circumstances, I was extremely proud of myself for what I was able to do and accomplish. Like, I'd love to hear your perspective on how you were kind of able to make that shift in your head, like what the steps looked like for that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I will say, like, I speak a lot more positive about it now
I'm
than
sure.
when that was
Yeah.
happening. Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Like I look back on it now, and I'm like, man, like what a huge obstacle. Like that was just awesome to even do that. Like in the moment, I definitely was like expecting more and like a little bit
Of course.
let down. Um, I would say like what led to that perspective shift was like coming back. Like I went home for Christmas break, and that was really tough because I had to do a lot of my rehab by myself. So I was like
Right.
running on the treadmill where like picture weight ups, like you only have like a certain amount of weight on your leg. Like I was like
Yeah.
doing that like at home. I was doing like certain like cone drills and stuff, and I had gotten cleared over Christmas break. And so
Yeah.
I came back for Christmas break and like first practice, like full go. And the coaches were kind of like, hey, like we know you're full go, but like if you're hurting, if you're not feeling great, like don't push it. Like let us know. Um, and the first couple of practices, like I was like a half participant. I had to sit out of some drills, and that was really like the first time where it was like, okay, like I am fully cleared, but fully cleared does not mean like fully healthy. You know,
Yes.
like
Yeah. Right. Right.
I was fully healthy from a medical standpoint. Like my bone was
Right.
healed, my joints were fine, everything was fine,
Right.
but my body was not ready to operate like at 100% explosive athlete level. And so I'd say like that was like the first time like we started doing scrimmages, and I was just like really struggling to see the baseball. It was my back leg that I broke, and I always
Okay.
had not like a big leg kick, but I would be a like hover guy in my load, so I would pick up
Yeah.
and kind of just like wait, and then if it was an off speed, I
Yeah.
would just kind of wait longer. And so when I would go to hit off live, like with my leg, I was not able to like hold that load at all, and so I
Right.
was just getting dominated by off speed pitches.
Oh, yeah.
Changeups and sliders, those used to be like what I mashed, and I was just getting owned. And so like that preseason, it was kind of like, okay, this is a bit of a reality check.
Yeah.
And I went back to my sports psychologist, and I was like, this makes no sense to me. Like I was absolutely top of my game last summer. Like it was something I could not even explain to you how cool it felt, and like just my mindset at the plate was so solid. And now it's like I'm so lost. And
Right.
the really big thing was just okay, like understand that this happened, and really it sucks, but like you can't do anything about it. Like what's happened has happened. If this is a game of chess, you know, you can't go back and change any of the moves. Like this is the chessboard. Like what's your best move? Like you can't take anything back. But Grayson, it's February. Like what's your best option? And I think just really simplifying it and taking some of the control back, where it's like, okay, I can't control where my body's at today necessarily. Like I can go to the training room,
Yeah.
I can help, I can do everything that I possibly
Right.
can.
Right.
But once I've done that, my body's just going to be my body. Like, what do I actually have control over? And that really helped me, you know, just be a really good teammate. Where it's like, okay, maybe I'm not playing, but I can be a really good teammate. I've played whatever 200, 300 career games. I can help these
Yeah.
guys that are playing with like what I'm seeing. And so I really started trying to like pick signs. Like we picked a team signs on Friday and just dominated them Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. And it was
Yeah.
like, man, that feels good. Like I helped the team win, even though I wasn't playing.
Right.
Really just focusing on like what I could do and what I could do to help the team
Yeah.
win on that day, or help some of the younger guys that were playing just with my own experience. So I would say those were like the really big perspective shifts.
Yeah. I really appreciate you being able to like have that injury and still think in your head, like, what can I do to help my team and what can I do to help the younger guys? Because I think a lot of people, when they get injured, right, like for all, you know, for a lack of better terminology, I guess, like you basically lost your previous identity of you as a baseball player, right? Like you probably
Yeah.
had this ideology of who you were as a baseball player before the injury happened, and then the injury happens and, you know, it's completely different, right? It changed completely. So your ability to be able to, make the most of that and still like say, I'm going to help the team in any which way I can, I feel like again is a very mature thing for you to do, because there are a lot of people in that situation that wouldn't have handled that with grace. And again, I'm sure, like you said, looking back, you can look at it as a little bit more of a positive and a learning experience. But a lot of people would even be like, you know what, I'm not who I used to be. I'm done. I quit. Right. And like the resilience that you were able to show, like I appreciate you being able to share that and kind of go over you overcoming that obstacle. Cause again, that's no easy feat, man. That's like tough.
Yeah, no, it was really hard, and like even as you bring up the identity shift, like that totally happened. It was like, man, I'm the captain. I'm supposed to be like the guy, and like I can't even play, and like when I do play, I don't even do that great. Like that was, I think that's something that like really like can be spoken about a lot more with injuries, and I think if I was younger, it would have been easier to just be like, okay, this is just, one season. I can come back from this.
Right.
I have time. I think what was unique about my situation was it was my last year. And so
Yeah.
I'm driving to the ballpark every day and I'm like, okay, it's March. Like, I only have 2 more months left of college baseball. And like, that was that more so than being the captain, being the contributor. That was more of my identity. And so it was like, okay, I can give up some of these other traits
Yeah.
just to say, hey, like I got a whole day of college baseball in front of me with my friends. Like I can be grateful for that. And I really got into journaling, a lot in that summer before in Anchorage. I had gotten into journaling a ton, like for baseball. And then the following year when I got hurt, I got just more into journaling just for like my whole life, and
Yeah.
just picking
Yeah.
out one or two things per day that I could be grateful for. That
Yeah.
really helped me, and that's also something that I really work with my clients now on. That I think like I'm a big believer in, like if you're grateful and you can just show up to the ballpark and just like be happy to just be there, like, not only are you gonna play better, but like you're just gonna have more fun. It's just gonna be just a better time for everybody.
No, definitely. And I like this identity shift leading into your now career, right? And I'd love to now shift into that, right? So, one, we just talked about your identity shift from athlete, from, before injury, post injury. Now, I'd love you to go into your identity as an athlete and now as a mental performance professional helping, athletes, and kind of what that process looked like. Because we've had a bunch of guys come on here that have now, dove into new ventures outside of whatever sport they played. And I think that identity shift is very unique for guys and sometimes can be really difficult, right? Like obviously still working in sports, I'm sure, you love that and you're really passionate about that, but what did that identity shift look like for you where it's like I'm no longer an athlete, but I still can help athletes out?
Yeah, no, it was really difficult the first couple months just going through it.
Yeah.
It almost felt like just with how that last year went, it almost felt like I was like forced out of it. And so,
Yeah.
I'd spent
Right.
so much time in the training room. I spent so much time just like in pain, like trying to be
Yeah.
ready to go, that by the end of that last year, it was like, oh, like thank God baseball's over. Like I can just go and do something
Right.
else, which sounds so
Yeah.
backwards, but like at that point, it was almost like, oh my gosh, like I'm so happy that's done with. And so that whole summer, I was like, I just want to do something else. And so I went
Yeah.
and I built fences. I worked for a fence company all summer.
Yeah.
And by the end of
Yeah.
that summer, I was like, that was terrible. Like I want to go right back. Like I want to go right back to college. Like I was like building fences in 100-degree weather every day. Like not for me. Like I respect the people that do
Yeah.
that, but that is not for me. And so
Right.
for me, it was like, how can I get back into sports? Like sports are my thing. I love talking about it. I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, cricket, like anything. I just want to talk about sports. And so that's when I came up with the thought of like, okay, like I could really do this like mental performance thing. Um, and then you start that whole journey, and it's like, okay, I'm not an athlete. Like I have my own athletic things that I like to do, like outside of sports now. Like I love riding my bike in the mountains. I love going on runs. Like I still work out. Like that's always going to be a part of who I am, just like pushing myself. But now it's just cool. Like, it's almost kind of similar with like my last year where it's like, I went to like, okay, how can I help these younger guys? It's similar now where it's like, okay, how can I help, from what I know, from what I've studied, my education, it's like, how can I help these people be almost like be better than I was? It's like kind of like how I think about it. Like when I look at my clients, I see a lot of myself in them, and I'm like, it just feels like I'm like helping myself out. It's like, this is so cool. So I will say that like when I first got started with it, I'm a little over a year into this now, like 13, 14 months into this journey of actually meeting with clients, having clients. And when I first started, man, it was a big time like, oh my gosh, like I am not qualified to like talk about this. Like,
I'm sure.
Like what do I know? Like I can't really help these people out. And it's probably taken me about a full year to gain some confidence and kind of get rid of that. What's it called? I can't think of the term. Imposter syndrome. Like get rid of that to where it's like, okay, now like after that whole time, like I actually feel confident. I feel like I have good stuff, which I always did. It's just like building up those reps, and I think that can also be similar to playing too.
No, definitely. No, I think that's really cool being able to have that perspective too, like you said, where you're like, I think I can help a lot of these guys be better than I ever was, and I think that's really cool because there are a lot of people that might have more of a negative view of that, where it's like, I don't know, you're kind of like, you in your head you want to be the man, if that makes sense. Like your ideology of being like, I want to serve others and help others and help grow people, I think is super cool. Like that's a really cool perspective to have. And this next question, just because I was thinking about it, it might be a little bit of a loaded question, but I'm gonna try to not make it loaded. Like there are so many factors that go into like working with a client one-on-one, right? Like I would love to hear, what are some of the frameworks that you kind of, I guess, live by as a mental performance coach or try to help support guys with? Like, I know there are endless, like, of course, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, can you run through 3 exercises that you use? But just like, what are just some of the mental frameworks I think that some guys could just take away and be like, generally speaking, it sounds like very beneficial or helpful for, a lot of athletes.
Yeah, I'll go with a couple. I just recently reread the book Inner Game of Tennis.
Yes,
not sure if you've read that, if any of the audience has read that. If you haven't read it, like this is like a must read.
Yes.
And obviously the title is going to kind of throw you off. Like the guy does talk about tennis, but these are just overarching themes that you can talk about with anyone. And I feel like for the most part, a lot of my framework comes from that book. Where I really love what he says about, self one and self two, where he talks about self one being this internal voice of the critic in your head, the judger, the person that tells you like, man, that's such a bad shot. Like, why did you do that? Whereas self two is your like innate physical skill. Like your body knows how to like do it, but now it's getting stopped by self one. That's a very like just generalized, just quick like break down. The book does a much better way of describing it, but like the overarching framework that I have is like just trust your preparation and go out there and like have that trust and that confidence, because like when you can reach that and you can reach that level of detachment from the outcome where when you play poorly, you're not beating yourself up going, man, why did I strike out? That was such a bad slider in the dirt. Like, why am I chasing that? And instead of like beating yourself up and like being so negative, which I don't mean to come off as just being like, well, just be positive about it, because I don't think that's the answer either. But being able to just look at things as they happen to you and say, okay, this happened. Why did this happen? Was my timing off? Did I miss a pitch earlier in the at bat that I maybe could have hit? Maybe got a bad hop in the infield. Like, you don't need to beat yourself up over that and criticize yourself. Just acknowledge that for what it is. And, now you can learn from it, move on, and hopefully trust all of those other reps, right? Like, so many times when we make errors in sports, in baseball or anything else, and I'm only talking about baseball because that's my background, but And so many times we overgeneralize like what has happened, right? So you miss a ground ball and you're like, oh man, like I always miss short hops, like I always miss balls on my forehand. And it's like, okay, like you don't always miss that. Like maybe
Yeah,
you miss
right.
that, 2 out of 10 times, which yeah, that's not great. But like the majority of times you are fielding that ball. So like let's stop with the overgeneralization and just realize, okay, this happened. We're gonna suspend our like emotional judgment, and we're gonna refocus and just trust that okay, I can do this more times than I can't, and my preparation
Yeah,
is going to come through. And if it's not for any reason, like I just need to do more preparation and get more reps, and
right.
it's all just skills, and you build skills through failure and through practice. So,
Yeah,
um, anyways, to get back to like your major things is like I love to build trust through
yeah,
confidence.
yeah.
And
No,
I think confidence and trust, like if there's any two mental skills, like I think those are the two like biggest ones that I truly like buy into, and I talk with all of my clients through whether you have the most confidence, the most trust, like we're still going to talk.
no, I love that. I love you bringing up detachment. I love you bringing up kind of the ideology of like neutral thinking, right? Like just taking things for what they are, taking things as they come, and then making adjustments from there. Like, I think everything that you just said is spot on and gold. And I think anyone can, like you said, it's a skill, and I think that's a big misconception that a lot of people have when they're younger is like people say you either have it or you don't, and that's a complete lie, right? Like a lot of these things you're able to train and work on and practice. And I think the way that you're kind of speaking about it and talking about it is a testament to like these are skills that you can achieve, right? And I do love The Inner Game of Tennis. It's a fantastic book. So no, I love kind of your thought process and ideas with that. But I'd love to hear too, right before we get into our Fast Five segment, kind of your goals for what you're trying to achieve as a mental performance coach moving forward, right? Like what do you see yourself kind of trying to achieve and strive towards now? Because I'm sure being an athlete, you have your goals and expectations, right? That you probably set for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. My current goal for myself is to just get like a very solid relationship built with a number of college teams. I would love to dive
Yeah.
more into the team space. I think it's one of my like more weaker spots of what I do. Not that I'm bad at it by any means, but I'd say right now probably 80 to 90% of my clients are individuals, which
Yes.
is
Yeah.
great. Like I love doing that, but I know that I can grow my team based business,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I have a good network of local high school teams that I work with, but I would love to do more college teams, and
Yeah.
I would love to just keep growing. Obviously, my like amount of pro clients. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love like getting to like travel and like go watch their competitions.
Yeah.
Especially people that like I haven't met. Social media is such a like weird thing nowadays where I have clients that I've
Yeah.
never met, and
Yeah.
they've been my client for over 6 months, and it's like this is so weird that we're like have such a
Yeah.
good relationship, but I've never even seen you like play in your sport. Like I might see like a
Right.
clip on social media or something. Um, I really do like working with the pro guys just because they are so regimented, and I
Yes.
know that whatever I tell them, they are going to do it 100%.
Yeah.
Which,
Right.
with college, with high school, you can kind of get into like, hey, like, did you do this? And they're like, oh no, I actually completely forgot. Which
Yeah.
again is totally fine, but I really do like
Yeah.
working with the pro guys where it's like, okay, here's your homework, and I know when we meet the next time, like they've done it all.
Right.
So those
No,
are those are
dude,
my two big ones. More college teams and grow my pro network.
that's awesome, man. No, that's great. And I like that. I think, the team aspect of kind of working with teams mental performance wise, I think is also like an underdeveloped area that a lot of teams utilize. Like obviously a lot of the big programs you see successful programs kind of utilize mental performance coaches, but I think even some of the smaller schools, I feel like sometimes it's even more valuable there because
Yes.
they're dealing with a lot of hardships on their own. Like, right, like they're not funded the same way. Maybe, it's, I'm going to speak from my experience, like a smaller D3 school, like we're practicing in snow, and it's like there's just different mental barriers that like aren't probably aren't even,
Yes.
dove into or like talked about. So I feel like there's just an outlet for that. That's, there's a
Yeah.
lot of
There's
opportunity. So
also there's also a super nice, well, nice for me being on my side, but there's a nice opportunity like in that level of like even like the smaller D1s, like D2s, D3s, NAIAs, JUCOs, where they would love to have this service, but they maybe just don't
yeah,
have it in the budget. They've never had anyone talk to them about this before. If you're
right.
talking like Power Four, Power Five schools, they don't need this. Like they have tons of funding. Like they don't like
Of course.
they have this already, right? It's
Yeah,
but then there's
right.
there's this nice window where it's like, well, maybe they do have the budget and they just don't even think about this, or they don't even know about this option. And to what you said, Brandon, also of like they probably do have more like mental hardships going on because like they don't have all this funding to, oh, it's snowing,
Right.
we're just going to go into the football stadium and just practice there,
Right.
and it's going to be heat and
Right.
turf, and oh yeah, I'm just going to put my
Right.
laundry loop and just throw it in the laundry hamper, it's going to be clean,
Right.
like we're talking just about more things where like maybe this does go further, and maybe a team picks this up and they're the only team in their conference that has it.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe it's a difference of 2 or 3 wins, and maybe that gets them somewhere further that they've never been. Definitely, when you're talking about this, like on like the higher D1 end, it's like, okay, well, if we get the service and every team in the conference has it, we're just kind of getting up to the standard. Like it's not pushing us further.
Right.
Where I just see this really unique opportunity for like an NAIA or like you said D3 team to pick me up, and I don't think it's going to do any bad, and it's going to help your team out and definitely over your competition, right?
I completely agree. I think it gives such a competitive advantage. And again, just coming from a background of like smaller schools that probably didn't have as much funding, right? Like it's such a valuable tool. And I feel like just any competitive advantage like that, right? Like even if it's that much, like you said, 2 or 3 games is huge in the landscape of college baseball, right? Like that could make or break your conference championship. That could make or break your regional performance. Like seriously, 2 or 3 games is huge. So like
Yeah, even just
any
one game.
any advantage you can get, yeah, even one game, any competitive advantage you get, you got to capitalize on. So no, I definitely back that sentiment and that support, and I'm sure those opportunities are going to come your way. Um, but I think we'll move right now into our last segment, which will be our Fast Five. So I explained this to you before, but it's just going to be 5 questions, semi rapid fire. Like I told you, it's not super rapid fire, but just kind of first thing that comes to your head. Some of the questions are a little bit deeper, some maybe not so much, but it'll be just 5 questions, and then you'll kind of give me your answers from
Sounds
there.
good. Let's do it.
Awesome. So, first question we got: what part of your identity did sports help you discover?
Oh, quick answer. I think sports really helped me discover like being a leader, and it really
Yeah,
helped me become a leader in the classroom, away from the field, like with my own family. Um, it just sports just kind of have that effect where it's like it really brings out a lot of those more masculine traits where it's like, hey, like you got to step up, take full responsibility, full ownership. Like if you mess up, if you don't mess up, and I think it really gave me a level of confidence that just helped me be a leader in so many different things that I've seen.
that's awesome. I love that. Now, question number two: looking back, what moment felt like the end for you, but ended up just being a new beginning?
Oh, this is kind of low hanging fruit, so I'll give two answers. But when I broke my leg, like literally to this day, I will remember like laying on the warning track and just being like, why did this happen to me? Like, just give me one more
Yeah,
game. And it really just felt in that moment like everything had been taken away from me. But now I look back at it, I'm like, man, if that never happened, like, I'm definitely not a mental performance coach. Like, I never
right.
meet my
Yeah,
sports psychologist. He never helps me out. I never get interested in this stuff. And so it's one of those things where it's like, it happened for a reason, I guess, and it led me right to where I am now. So I can't be upset with that. I'll try to think of a second answer that's like a little bit less than like what we just like talked about, like the whole podcast. Um, Definitely, I would say my redshirting also was really hard on me.
Yeah.
Just because it felt like I had just gotten to college. I went to a bigger college than I thought I was going to go to. I came in way over my head, like outplayed even what I had expected for myself. And then I come back and I get told I'm redshirting, and it's like, man, like I really thought like I had it, and then I get kind of kicked in the nuts, and it's like, no, like you don't have this at all yet.
Right.
So, and then after that spring, going into the summer of having to be like, okay, let's play baseball again. I haven't played in 4 months, and just that whole summer, and so that I would say that also was a definite low.
Definitely. No, I think both of those are great bounce back stories, truthfully. Then number 3, when everything around you is chaotic, what's one mental habit that helps bring you back to center?
Oh, definitely breath work. I'm really big on breath work. Like when things get out of control, it's really easy for your heart rate to raise, and then your mind just interprets your heart rate raising as like as what you said, like more chaos. It can help it, like your brain definitely speeds up. And I think just being able to like refocus and just have a way to come back like to the present moment, it just helps everything. It helps you take in data, helps you calm down, helps you be more rational. So if you're watching this and you don't do breath work, like I would definitely suggest just try, like look up YouTube videos and just try out a bunch of different ones. I guarantee you'll like one more than the other, and just getting a couple deep breaths in like a moment of chaos can just really, really help slow stuff down and get you refocused on what matters.
No, definitely. I completely agree. I think breath work's really underutilized, but it's super beneficial, truthfully. Number 4, what belief about yourself did you have to unlearn in order to grow as an athlete or a person? So like if there was any limiting beliefs that you might have had.
For sure. So something that we haven't spoken about yet was like all growing up, I played infield. Then I got to college. Like I had just played shortstop my whole life, and I got to college, and they're like, hey, man, like you're 6'3", like you're not gonna play shortstop. Like you're gonna play third base or first base. Then I stunk at third base. Like got moved over to first base like very quickly. Then got moved to the outfield, and I had only played the outfield like a couple times my whole life. And now I'm being asked to play it at like college level, and so through that whole process, it was a lot of self doubt. It's like, self doubt first of like, man, I'm an infielder, and like now I'm in college and I suck at infield. Then, okay, now I'm an outfielder. I don't know anything about playing outfield.
Right.
And so having to battle just these thoughts in the outfield of like, my first couple of games in summer ball, even in like practice and like scrimmages, it would just be like this just constant self-talk of like, don't hit me the ball. Like please hit me the ball. Like if the ball does come to me, like please just like field it. Like just catch it. Right. Like these things that were like you're 19 and 20, and it's like, okay, how are you thinking that way? Like you're definitely going to catch the ball. Like you've been playing this game your whole life.
Right.
But it was just so new to me and so uncomfortable. Like when I first started, that a lot of those doubts, a lot of that negative self-talk like took over until I had proven it to myself and, gone 100% effort and gotten those reps in it. And I was like, okay, like I actually am comfortable. And once I got comfortable, like it was over with. But definitely like having to give up my infielder identity and get over just the fact of just like not being that good of a outfielder to start.
No, definitely. I think it's a really unique circumstance too. I think that's a fantastic answer. And then last question, what does success feel like to you now, and how has that changed since you started or, were an athlete?
Yeah, this is a great question. I mean, this is a question that I still think about to this day. I was having a really deep conversation with my sister about like a month ago. Just like, how do you define like what your value is and like what success really is? And I think when I was an athlete and I was in college, it was very similar to like what you said. Like I don't want to say like I had a big ego, but like when I would do things right, when I would get rewarded on my efforts, like that's what I was like playing for. It's like, man, I'm playing because like I want our team to win the conference. I want to win Player of the Week. I want to like be on the All Conference team.
Right.
And I could very clearly lay out like, okay, like it's this accolade, this accolade, this accolade.
Yeah.
And I think back on it now, and I'm like, man, like that's so silly. Like that's such a silly way to define it now. And now when I think about it, I think if you can have something like very clear that you're passionate about, that you're ambitious about, that like you wake up in the morning and you're like, I cannot wait to do this all day, whether that's, you know, your work, maybe that's your hobby, like after work. If you just have something that just like brings you like pure joy, honestly, like I think that is like in itself successful, because I mean, as humans, we all have so many like decisions throughout our day, like where to live, where to work, you know, what partner to be with, and there's so many things to like make a bad choice on. And if you can just make a good choice on work, partner, what your hobby is, like maybe you don't love work, but like, man, Friday at 5:00 hits, like I'm going into the mountains, like I'm gonna go hunt, or I'm gonna go ride my mountain bike, or I'm gonna go fish. If you just have that, like I think that's as successful as a life as having all the accolades and having all the fancy stuff, right? So I think at the end of the day, like if you're happy, if you're fulfilled, if you're like driven towards something, like that's going to make you successful in that, just because you enjoy doing it and you enjoy showing up and putting the time in. And I think sometimes as humans we get it a little bit backwards, where it's like, oh no, like we have to put the time in first before we can like it. And it's like, no, you can like what you do, and it's probably going to make you better off on it. So
100%.
That's what I think now, and I'm sure it'll change in 10 or 15 years again.
Yeah. Right? No, that was a fantastic answer. I love that so much, because you're right. Success does take different shapes and forms as, you know, we evolve through our lives. So dude, I love hearing you say that. But Grayson, I really, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for coming on here, sharing your journey, sharing kind of your beliefs, your mental frameworks that you utilize, kind of your ups and downs through your experience. I mean, just showing resilience the whole way through. I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing with me and everyone kind of, you know, what you went through and how your story went. So seriously, I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story.
Yeah, no, thank you very, very much for the words of praise. I'm just happy to get on here, share my story. You know, hopefully a couple people listen to it and they get at least something out of this talk. So, thank you for reaching out, setting this all up. I had a really, really great time, and loved answering all of your questions. They were really good questions. So you definitely made it a lot easier on me than others.
Dude, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And plug your where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at gsterling performance. I post 3 to 4 times per week, all different kinds of sports, golf, baseball, football. I just kind of whatever's going on, I just try to capture like the recent stuff and make a quick video on it. I also have a website you guys can check out, sterlingmentalperformance.com. I probably need to update it a tiny bit, but it's got all of my recent, like if you want to reach out for a phone call, a Zoom meeting, it's all there. It's really straightforward, but yeah, Instagram, website, and yeah, my phone number will be on all that. My email will be on that. I'm not difficult to find. I make it very easy to find.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go.
That's awesome. No, and even if you're not going to utilize Grayson's services, even if you're beyond playing in your sports, he's definitely worth a follow. He's posting great content on Instagram. I really enjoy the videos that you've been posting. So yeah, give him a follow. But again, thank you so much. And everyone tuning in, thank you for listening. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.